So I was in the kitchen minding my business as usual, with another flatmate of mine who was using up all the points on the electric cooker, etc. Apparently, today is the Chinese New Year. Not a problem. So he was apparently cooking and getting ready for that event. Another flatmate of mine, a lady, then comes into the room and then she says, I'm wondering if I can just quickly fry an egg for breakfast. This is about 10:30 in the morning. This guy says, I thought we told you that we were having guests over today and that we are planning to get together. She says, oh yeah, I do remember that, but it won't take 5 minutes. I just really need to eat breakfast. He then says, well, then you should have come earlier. Of course, after saying you should have come earlier, she then says, no, but I don't have to come earlier and I don't have to do anything. As a matter of fact, this kitchen belongs to all of us and I paid full price to use it for 24 hours. So I can see that that pot over there is not boiling at this moment. I'm going to move it and I'm going to fry my eggs. Of course, the guy grumbled, etc. I moved the pot away for her. She did what she had to do and leave. But let's play this back again. If when she came in and said exactly what she said before, and she was being sweet and nice and polite about it, if the guy had simply said, oh, I'm sorry it's not possible right now because XYZ, could you please come back in 5 minutes? I should have one of these cookers free. Where you acknowledge there's a problem, explain why you cannot concede, and then give an alternative. As against grandstanding and insisting on rights that you do not have, you always get a different result. This brings to mind the Bible saying in Proverbs that says, a kind word turns away anger. Many of you have this challenge with how you speak to people. Many of you consider being polite as a sign of weakness. You consider that when people are not forceful and aggressive and confrontational, it means that they do not know their rights, and as such, you can bully them into having your way. Many of the problems that you're having is because you don't know how to talk. If you're anything above 6 years old and you do not know how to ask nicely, to speak nicely, to insist nicely, then you have a problem and you need to work on it this new year, because you're going to continue getting pushback that you don't need. We all have people like that in our offices and in our friendships, that even when you could have considered or you could have just done it or could have let something go, but because you know who they are, you know that they will think of it as a personal win, or they will consider you being weak because you allowed them to have their way. Then you stand your ground and you say, no, I'm not going to do it. Even something you could have just done normally for anyone else, you say, you know what, nah. All right then, thought to share. Have a good weekend. As always, I'm very happy to hear from all of you at Roxy, at ROQZEE on Twitter. Let me know your thoughts and if you've had any experience like this before.